All right. Hello and welcome everybody that is joining in. Welcome to the first episode of the Training Team Podcast in 2025. I have to say, to legally distinct between the previous episodes of Training Team Podcast that came before us, but are not listed yet or ever. But shout out to the people that did them. In any case, hi everyone, my name is Atanas. I am today's host and I'm also an external trainer from the 14th generation. And today's topic with our lovely and very handsome guest here is going to be personal decision making. And this one is aimed more towards the trainers among you. Now, welcome, John. You would probably kill me if I tried to pronounce your proper last name. So,
I would
do you want
I
to
would
introduce
challenge you.
yourself?
I would challenge you to do this. Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you guys. Thank you, Atanas, and the rest of the people in the podcast team or podcast project to have me here. As Atanas said, we're gonna be talking about personal decision making today, and we're hoping that you're enjoying it, and we're gonna be moving it around, let's say, different topics and different areas. I have no idea, to be honest, about the questions that Atanas is gonna be having. I'm expecting anything in here, but about myself, I hope that I am as handsome as Atanas is, and also as Atanas is presenting me. But also, I'm a person. I've been an e-staker for already like 5 years or so, or 6 years. And I've been part of the training team since the 12th generation that was happening during COVID in Athens. So let's say that I have had some experience delivering sessions and some experience within people here in EESTEC.
Some birdies also told me that you have delivered on a T4T potentially,
Oh, really?
maybe.
Yeah. I didn't remember that. It was an amazing experience that I no. I delivered in T4T. When was it? 3 years ago. Well, I was in Belgrade, 2020. No, 2 years ago. 2 years and a half already.
2023, right?
2023. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was in Belgrade for the 14th generation with amazing co-trainers. We were six there, and let's say that we had a lot of personal decisions to be taken into that situation that in the end we really managed to have like an incredible generation and incredible people that are still in the generation in the association really active, so I'm really happy about that.
So first of all, also fact checking. This was the 15th generation. Um,
15th.
yes. The 13th was Tuzla. 14th was Poland, Krakow.
Yeah,
Shout out.
listen,
And yeah, 15th generation.
absolutely.
And also, yeah, glazing aside, also I'm very, very happy that it went well. This is gonna be cut for sure because I don't know where I was going with this sentence.
I hope you don't cut it, it's gonna be good.
Oh, it's gonna be perfect.
And we
All
have it
right,
here.
let's hit it up with our first question.
Yep.
Now, when it comes to personal decision, what is one of your personal decisions in the last, let's say, 3, 4 years that was, let's say, on the more difficult side?
Let's say, let's keep it into Istec, or let's keep it into also my personal life.
I mean,
Mm,
I don't
Any.
care too much about your dating life, but
Uh,
you can involve
no.
professional life and university and stuff with it as
Yeah.
well.
Related to my student life and ISTEC, I remember the time that I was thinking about two things. The first time I was applying for training team board, I remember I was really thinking about it. I talked with you at the time. You were on the board, and we had like an interview in order to get into there. And I was really thinking about it because of how much impact would it be for my life, because it would change a lot of things into my daily life, and on like my habits would change a lot because it would take a lot of time, a lot of effort to do it. But the main part of it and why I took that decision, it was because of my priorities in life, let's say. It is a really important thing to take into consideration once you're taking a decision or you're thinking about making a decision for yourself. is to take into consideration all these aspects of it and the prioritizing that you can do on those aspects. For example, at that time for me was to grow not only as a, let's say, as a person, that people are always like, I want to grow as a person, but mainly grow as an e-sticker and having experience for my future life. And that's why I decided to continue with it. And in the end, it was like an incredible experience where I learned a lot, and finally it paid. Most of these decisions that you're going to be having in your life are going to be ending up, no, it's not going to be black or white, that it's going to be good or bad, but it's going to be like a way, like a path that you're going to be going through, and you're going to be learning from each single experience, each single step that you're going to be taking into it. The second main decision was related to T4T, that you talked about it. um, I was thinking about delivering into T4T. T4T, for people that don't know really about what it is or what can it be, it's a huge event that we are doing here in the association, in the training team, for new trainers to get enrolled into the team. We need to prepare them. It's not like Hogwarts or something like that kind of magical thing that we're doing, but more of into effort that we're putting into them, for them to learn and for them to get ready to do the same in the future. And this means that also you need to put a lot of effort on not only the experience that you have, to put it into words, to put it into sessions, to put it into a learning path, but also it's a lot of effort mentally and emotionally for yourself, because it's going through a lot of different situations that you weren't really expecting from the beginning, but due to your these priorities that I was setting on myself, that in this case I wanted to give back what I learned. I wanted also to grow a little bit more. I wanted to get some experience, not only into training sessions, but also how to manage new people that I didn't know. This really helped me a lot to learn. And in order to settle these, no, once you settle these priorities and these steps that you want to achieve, if everything goes wrong, uh, at least you have somewhere where to hold yourself, that you agreed with yourself. So if you agreed with these priorities and these, let's say, goals that you wanted to achieve, if everything goes wrong or everything goes on the way that you were not expecting, at least you have something well to hold and something to be objective with, that you made an agreement with yourself that you were going to be doing it because of this. It's,
Yeah,
let's say, easier not to quit on those kind of cases.
yeah, that makes very much sense. Also for for T4T, for if in case anyone external is listening, this is our Train New Trainers event in EESTEC. So you have basically a week and a bit more, so roughly 10 days of training related skills topic. I mean, if anyone from EESTEC is listening that's from the training team, they know, because otherwise you don't get in for the most part. But
Happens.
yeah, I mean, this is usually quite a big deal, because you need to dedicate quite a bit of time for it.
Quite a lot of
I
time.
remember I was a trainer on an external TNT on Youth Trainers Academy, and I mean, it's 3 months of consistent work,
Yeah, three
roughly
months
at
of a
least,
new
and
job.
together with the event itself, where you have like 10 days of 24/7 brain on event, of course with some fun parts, but it's for the most part, delivery, taking care of participants, making sure everyone learns, making sure nobody has mental breakdowns.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit of work, so it's a big decision. So I
Which,
definitely get why this was one of the the
yeah, yeah,
bigger
yeah.
decision making process in your mind.
Which I have to say that it sounds horrible from what we are talking about, but it's completely worth it.
Oh yeah.
It's like joining ISTEC, that you're like preparing a lot of events, preparing a lot of stuff that people from the outside, for example, my friends have told me, why are you having so many meetings that are for, like, in order to prepare more meetings, and those meetings are going to be for more meetings. And at the end, I end up like, okay, objectively, it sounds tough and sounds nonsense, but in the end, everybody can say that it's completely worth it. You get to know a lot of people, and you get to know a lot of yourself too.
You learn a lot. I mean, especially when you have so many meetings, you learn
Yeah.
at least how to facilitate
And
meetings.
I gotta say that for the future, it's gonna be super useful that you have
Yeah.
been already into too many meetings and you know how to handle them. Really useful.
Yes. Yes. Very much true. Um, So yeah, I mean that's two major ones. Thanks for keeping it EESTEC, even though I would have loved to hear something wild
I
in
can
there as
say
well. But
EESTEC.
this is for the post show.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if we have a post show, but if we have a post show, please sponsor us. Thank you very much.
I have my ruler in here. I cannot drink any.
So I mean these are big things. How is it for you in general? How do you make decisions? Are you someone who's easy to make decisions, or are you someone who's struggling picking
I love
the dinner for the day?
I love this question. I'm a person that has the feeling, let's say. You know, this kind of people that is going to make a decision, and I say, okay, I have the feeling that it's going to be this way. Most of the times it pays off. I don't regret not taking other decisions or not going through other paths because, as I said, I learn a lot from what I do, and from my side, my perspective is that I would have learned the same from the on the other decisions, and as I enjoyed it, it's nice. Um, I'm a person, as I said, really easy to make decisions. I've been working with people that don't even know what taste of the ice cream they're gonna be taking. And from that side, I'm this kind of person that is decisive and knows what to take the pistachio one. Please, everyone, to do that. And it's easy for me. Why is that? As I said, I have this feeling that everything is gonna be okay. I know it's hard to understand it, but I've taken also hard decisions on my life that I've been doing like a 180-degree turn at the middle of my life. For example, right now I stopped working, I started studying again, meaning that no money is being put into my bank account, but it's an investment, and I'm learning a lot. Meaning that when I was doing the decision, as I said, I listed everything. Why would I like to do it? Why wouldn't I like to do it? And from the beginning, I already knew that I wanted to make those decisions. One thing for the people um, that want to take a decision, and I have experienced it, one little tip is to get a coin from my side. Get a coin, throw it in the air. Why do I say this? If you have two, three, this like same equal weight decisions that you want to take, and you can only get one, throw the coin. If it goes heads or tails, it won't matter. Once it goes the decision that you really wanted to do or you really wanted to take, you will be happy about it. If it will go the other way, you will be having like those kind of second thoughts about it. That will mean that you don't want that decision.
You'll just throw the coin again to see if it lands the
Exactly.
right way to
Exactly.
get the right decision. Yeah, I've used this myself as well. Um, Year and a half ago, I decided on basically on a whim on a job offer to move countries,
Yeah.
switch professions, and all of this I had like 3 days to decide. And I mean, the funny thing was, I mean, yes, I took my time to calculate everything to see if I'm
Yeah.
making any major mistakes in there. But the second I started making an actual pro con list,
You knew it.
I knew it already.
Yeah.
And of course, my mom sniffed me out because I was, of course, also discussing it at some point with my parents, but at some point means at the end of those 3 days. And after 5 minutes of me telling my options to my parents, my mom already said, "Did you already make a decision?" I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah.
And then I got yelled at for an hour. But hey, I mean, you can't have everything. It's just Balkan parents.
And even if you regret about the decision you took, at least you learned something, and it's like a
Oh
new
yes,
year. Sometimes
yeah.
we're too worried about a full year that we are losing or whatever. You're not losing it fully for sure, and you're learning from it.
Yeah. I mean, the important part is learning from it.
Yeah, exactly.
If it goes south, but for the most part, I mean, yeah, I also like the train of thought of just going to where your heart is pulling you to.
Yeah.
If it's feasible, of course. Some things are just not
Of
feasible,
course, yeah.
but I mean, we are expecting, at
Let's
least I'm expecting usually some form of thought
yeah.
put into things.
For the people
that
that
it
are
works.
listening to this episode, we're not saying that directly forget about everything you're doing and go from for what you want. Please make sure that you're not following everything that we say. Please make it objective for yourself. These are our decisions. But from our experience, we are happy to do what we have done and the decisions we have taken.
Good, good. That's a good point to end this question or discussion point on. Now, I'm curious. How do you treat decisions when it comes to training? Because you've been a trainer for a while.
Yeah.
You've also been working for a bit, work-wise, training-wise. I put it in the same spectrum because I believe that one of the major things as a trainer is to treat it professionally.
Yeah.
Because you are having a learning experience with participants. That's why I'm putting both into the mix. You can, of course, have a different opinion, but
Uh,
I hope not.
I hope not, and probably not. In a way that, of course, you need to be professional. You need to be always working with professionality in mind, but also with a human side in mind, let's say. The main objective of a training session is for people to learn and for people to grow. And I'm always working, as I said, with this idea, in this case, with this idea in mind and with those priorities that I have been stating before. So this is the first priority for people to learn and for people to grow. Then goes the emotional part, the fun part, the everything that goes there. So every single decision that I'm making is towards those goals, those objectives. At the beginning of a session, you always establish 4 or 5 objectives, 4 or 5 goals that are gonna be guiding through your session, and every single decision that you're taking goes into that. Which means sometimes that you cannot plan everything. So there will be moments where you will need to improvise in a way that some things are gonna be happening, and you will need to be adapting yourself towards the main objectives of the session. In this case, as I said, people are going to be learning. So if something happens that you were not expecting, you're always going to be working towards people learning. So you will adapt yourself and you will, let's say, you're not adapting yourself because you already understood it. You already got everything internalized, and you will know subconsciously how to act towards people learning in that case. So let's say that people are having always the professionality in mind, being professional, how to work towards that, but it's more of a way of acting, a way of being yourself, that you're always having goals in mind or goals subconsciously in yourself, and you will understand yourself how to work towards that.
Yeah, I do agree with that a lot. I mean, when I talk about professionality at work and training, I mean exactly this. I mean, we have certain goals. Being professional means you work towards that. Like
Yeah,
in a work meeting, if people are going completely off topic and the goal for the meeting is to fix a bug or something,
yeah,
if it's in IT, then the professional thing to do is stop derailing,
yeah,
go
yeah,
back to the topic. For training, exactly that. If you see that you're missing the learning objective that you set for the session, then you try to rail it back in.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, how do you treat those decisions in training? Let me be a bit more specific on that one. How do you decide on the spot quickly? Because especially when you have to improvise or when something goes in, or even just for answering some of the questions and which questions you answer. All of these are like some micro decisions you need to do on the spot.
Of course. And I understand the question now in a way that whenever you're having like as I said, as you said, like a micro decision that you need to take, you need to be aware of the situation first. You need to be aware of objectively what is going on. You're having people in the session, people are having some questions, people are having some other things that are making them not to achieve this goal of learning. So for yourself, first of all, my first tip is to be calm. No, like no decisions that you're gonna be taking is gonna destroy your reputation, destroy your credibility, your life. If you keep it into a frame
Most
of
most
almost,
decisions,
yeah. If you
yes.
keep it into a frame of rationality and logical decisions that you're taking, but state yourself, where are you? Uh, as I said again, what do you want to achieve? But for example, I can say an experience in here. It's gonna be pretty fun. We were delivering a session. It was it was T40. Yeah, it was like in Belgrade. It was what kind? Like it was 40 degrees or something like that, and there was no AC in the room, no fan, no air, and suddenly I realized myself that I was completely sweating. Like I was almost gonna faint because of the heat that I was suffering, and I was getting dizzy. So I wasn't realizing what I was saying, what I was doing, what I was because I was my let's say that my body was trying to survive. At that point, I needed to my decision was to keep going and going let's say that to control a bit more, like making myself aware that I was having that. Of course, it was important for me not to faint over there, so I got some water, and I had the lack also to understand that you can work with the rest. You're not going to be alone. So at that point, I talked with my co-trainer. In this case, my co-trainer got in and helped me with the situation, helped me after that to try and explain things that maybe I could skip because I wasn't aware of what I was saying at the point. And I learned a lot from there, from that kind of situation where even even we're always talking about um, stating yourself, being aware of the situation and everything. Even I wasn't there. Let's say that my brain was not braining there, and I realized that I wasn't alone. For in this case, we're talking about personal decision making. You can always get support from others, which is something really important. We are not talking about ourselves, but we can get the help from the people we are having around in order to get information. Maybe they're gonna be more objective than us, so they're gonna be helping a lot. They are gonna be helping us a lot, getting different inputs that we were not considering, and that we can use to make a decision. In this case, it was a super small decision. It was a really fast paced decision that we were taking, and they really help a lot in that situation.
Yeah, I think I can imagine, even though you're Spanish, that you still need some water to survive.
Yeah. I wasn't drinking
Apparently,
water.
crazy,
Yeah,
right? Um, but yeah, I mean, this is one of the important part is to
yeah.
talk, because for the trainers out there, you will deliver often with co-trainers.
Mm,
There's no way you don't talk things out, especially if you're not sure about what to do about something, get a second opinion.
exactly.
Easy as that. I mean, it sounds easy, of course, but it's sometimes very difficult for some people to get over themselves to actually ask,
Mm.
because they think it's stupid, or they think that. I mean, sometimes it's stupid. Every time a teacher says, "Oh, there are no stupid questions," there are, obviously,
And
but it
those
doesn't
and those are
matter.
the best ones.
Yes,
The
but it
stupid
doesn't
ones.
matter. Like if it's important, ask. That's the thing. If you
For
didn't get it, ask. If it's stupid, ask. I
for
mean, what's the worst
people,
that they can say? I mean, there's bad things they can say, but
yeah.
if they're decent people, what's the worst they can say? You know?
For people
Um,
who know us, they will understand that stupid questions are the ones that we are sometimes making, and
Sometimes.
it has really helped me a lot asking those kind of questions because it has given a point that people haven't thought. So, and they say that it's creative or something, but it was a stupid question for us, and it gives another way of point of view of seeing things, seeing a problem, how to solve it and stuff. So as you said, ask people. If there's anyone who's listening to me and wants to talk about anything, any decision that they want to make in life, and they want to ask it to us, they can do it.
And I'm not saying any one of us should be a life coach in
No,
any
no, no, no,
case,
no, no,
but
no,
the main
please.
thing is to get any opinion, even if
Exactly.
you know the opinion is trash. And I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. Like sometimes an opinion is trash.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of trash opinions myself, but this is also part of it. If you hear it and then you hear it out loud and then you still say, yeah, this still sounds like the trash opinion that I was expecting. Perfect. Then you know which way you don't want to go.
Don't want to go exactly.
Yeah, but one point that I would like to focus in on that you said, which is be aware of your surroundings, be aware of what's going on, because especially for this like short-term decisions, like the split-second decisions, when it comes to specifically to delivery, because during training design, let's say training design and the intro part and also
Mm.
the follow-up, you have time. You usually have time to decide on
Anything,
things.
yeah.
Even if you have to rush, it's not about seconds, it's about hours.
Exactly.
But during training delivery, that's where a lot of people have decision paralysis. Like, what
Mm.
should I do now? How do I hold my hands? Where do I stay? Where do I put my visuals? And the thing that you said is something that is very interesting to me. Um, be aware of like things you can do, and be aware of your surroundings and of the situation, which has multiple factors, of course, because this
Yes.
also includes experience.
Exactly.
If you don't know what to be aware of, you will not know what you can do. So you will not be aware of something you don't know you should be aware of.
Exactly.
And that is one point that I wanted to touch on a bit because it's very interesting to me. The people that are probably the best at improvising have been improvising a lot,
Yeah.
which comes from first from usually starts with necessity. It's usually the people that are very late at preparing presentations. At
Hmm.
least if I speak for myself, that's how I started improvising for a lot of things. And with experience, with time, with falling on your nose flat
Yeah.
sometimes, this gets definitely better. So yeah, what do you think about it? What do you think about experience in those type of things and also
Um,
failing?
um, I have this mojo in my life that failing is good. Failing at the beginning, failing during your path, failing when you have a lot of experience is really nice because failing gives you, as you said, gives you these situations where you already know what not to do or what is not going to be working. In a way to connect it with improvisation, let's say that improvising leads you to a lot of failing, so it leads you also to a lot of learning. And the important thing is that you're also open to learn from mistakes. Because I've seen people that have been doing a lot of mistakes, not inside EESTEC only, but also in the professional, let's say, job life, that have been making a lot of mistakes. I have been making a lot of mistakes, but in this case, I try to be open to learn from those mistakes in order not to be happening again. What I'm trying to say is that improvising and making mistakes is a double-edged sword. First of all, if you want to get the credibility, you're always putting yourself a lot of pressure on, okay, let's not make a lot of mistakes, let's not get a lot of space for improvisation, let's try to prepare everything. It is really hard for me to, let's say, not improvise but take everything into account for a session. So sometimes you, with experience, you will get to learn that this space for improvisation is gonna be growing a bit more because you already have had experience on how does that work. So you won't have to prepare that much everything. But let's say that at the beginning, let's try to go with okay. It's okay for you to have mistakes, but also it's really important for you to get ready for everything. What I'm trying to say with this is at the beginning, work a lot, put a lot of effort. This won't mean that you will be perfect, for 100% for sure. You won't be perfect, but you will get into perfection by practicing, failing, organizing, improvising. Those four pillars, let's say, are always important in order to get closer to perfection. You will never be perfect for sure because no single session, no single decision is going to be the same, but at least you will get to learn from every single part. And for example, once you can talk about those decisions to anyone else to give your own experience and your own point of view, you will have this experience so in a way in order to tell them or to
Yeah,
give them some knowledge to
yeah.
improve
The,
them.
the if you have done something, if you've taken a decision And again, like we are not talking about life-changing
No,
decisions.
no.
We're talking about everything. Everything is a decision. Taking coffee or I don't know,
Yeah.
a tea in the morning. But having taken a decision, especially in training and during delivery, and this one goes out there for the trainer candidates that are
Hmm.
still out there panicking about their deliveries, and also some trainers that are panicking about their deliveries.
Yeah.
Once you have made a decision and you weren't sure if this had a good impact or not
Hmm.
on your session, at least you can talk about it. And you
Yeah.
can ask someone experienced, especially someone experienced with this topic that you were delivering. And you can ask, hey, this was a situation. I did this.
Yeah.
This happened. How would you have handled it? This is one of the major ways to learn. Like for me, this was one of the biggest improvements. Like the biggest improvements came from this type of conversations. I
Hmm.
did this. What would you have done? And just figuring out potential thought process of the different trainers with different styles. And I mean, of course, that doesn't mean that what they would have done would have been necessarily better, but
Yeah.
it gives you perspective. It gives you the spark, it gives you some idea that comes into that you want to try out next time.
Exactly.
And that's for me like the very nice thing about collaborating with a lot of experienced trainers and also
I
inexperienced ones because
100%.
some people are very creative.
And they probably, as you said, probably they will be really creative, but their ideas are not the best in
Yeah,
for that kind of situation. But at least they spark you the next step for you to be taking. And as you were saying, really important, be open to feedback.
yeah,
Be open not only to listen to the feedback, but to apply it to yourself and learn from that. What I was saying before, relating it more into the sessions. One thing that you said that makes me really think about this whole process of getting experience into making decisions is that at the beginning a session will take longer time to get ready, to get prepared, because you have never read about it, you have never experienced it on you, you have never experienced it on a session delivery, and also you have never experienced if it was good or not for participants. But with time, with experience, with trying, with failing, with success, comes the automatization of it. Once you have done something, even though you have failed, you will know how to do it again in a session. You will know how people react. You will know how you can go and how to make it more optimized, let's say. And really important is once you have everything done, share it with people. Share it with your mentor, with your co-trainer, with your mom. Uh, Share the knowledge that you have in order for people to be saying, okay, I wouldn't do it like this. I maybe would change it to this, like this, or I would exactly do that you have done. So you already know where to go through and how to go through.
like if you have people around you that you can share the topic with,
Yeah.
in a sense of you're talking about time management.
Hmm?
If you just run the theory that you're planning with them, just tell them what you're planning is theory, even if they're not part of the session. Like you can literally do this with your mom or dad or whoever, and you can ask, hey, does this sound like a reasonable like theory for you? Like, would this be of any help? And that's also a way to gauge it, because you have your own idea of what the learning objective would need when it comes to theory, when it comes to the specifics that you want to do in a session. But it doesn't mean it's correct because some people have a completely different opinion. You might be way more experienced or way less experienced than your participants in a certain topic. So it's just best to run it through someone after you made some decisions, after you had the process. One thing I would like to add to this is to, if you're making, now talking about less short term decisions,
Yeah.
make sure to, at least that's what helped me, to really narrow down your thought process and to write it down. Why
Okay.
did you make that decision? Like, what are the factors that are really important? Because a pro con list is amazing, like pros and cons and
Yeah.
shit, and it's great. But which of the pros are actually important? You could have one pro there, but it's the one that, like,
That
after
is
against like
everything.
11 cons, but you will still pick it. So you have to make sure that, especially if you're not very confident with some of the decision making in the specific field, for example, in the trainings, make sure to map down what you are actually thinking.
Yeah,
So how did you come to the decision? Because there might be some logical fallacy in there. There might be some like just a wrong thinking in there because it's just like illogical conclusion, but
exactly.
it's there, and you cannot figure out how this happens if you don't figure out which steps you go through when doing that. Doesn't mean you need to have a spreadsheet every
Yeah,
time you
no,
go
no,
out
no,
for
no, no.
groceries, but
But
it's a good way to actually figure out where you're, like, if you're making a lot of decisions for trainings that are maybe not optimal and you think you can do better, then this is a way to get out some of the kinks.
hmm, exactly, and this comes with experience again.
Yeah.
That this kind of thought process, degrain and detailing, once you have done it multiple times, it will be easier for you and it will be more internal for you, and it will be easier to make decisions most of the times. Um, and this is why we're not doing a full spreadsheet whenever we're going out doing to do some groceries, because we have internalized to ourselves why do we want stuff and how do we want it. And once we have it internalized, it's easier to make that decision. So we come back to the beginning. For example, for me, it's easier for me to take decisions because I was talking about this feeling. This feeling comes from experience. So we can link both ideas of I have been doing it for my whole life, being decisive, being detailed with my decisions, how to, let's say, detail this thought process. It has really helped me a lot taking future decisions for my life. Not, as you said, not only short term, but the long term ones that have been changing, let's say, my whole life these past years. And one last thing I wanted to say, and relating it more of EESTEC and the association or your student life, is try to get out of your bubble too. We're always thinking about what is good, what is the truth, what is not true, and everything. And sometimes, as we are really surrounded by people that are always thinking the same that we are thinking, are doing the same things, we're all going to events, we're all studying, we're doing stuff. Try to get out of that bubble. Try to contact your friends if you're having let's say a decision related to anything that it's in life. Try to contact your friends that are outside of this bubble. Try to contact your family. Try to everyone. Anyone can help you. And getting out of this let's say circle of same opinions can also get you into vicious decisions that are always going to be ending in the same way, because they were taken by people, or you
Yeah.
were having help from people that were having the same opinion as you were having.
Yeah. That's a big thing there. Breaking out of the bubble, and that this for anyone out there that is not great at decision making, or rather has a lot of decision paralysis. I want to touch on that a bit later, because I'm curious how you think about that. But for you out there, it's and by no means a disadvantage to be less quick at decision making.
No.
It's your style, and as everything, find something that works for you. Sometimes you have a certain style of asking people about certain decisions. You don't need to specify the exact thing that happens to you. You
Yeah.
can just ask hypotheticals. This works. I know people that ask me some hypotheticals, and I know exactly that's about some girl. But then again, it's their way of asking. But yeah, make sure to just figure out a way that works for you without draining you. Because the
Yeah,
main
yeah,
thing
yeah,
is
yeah.
decisions shouldn't be too draining unless it's something super urgent that can go super wrong. Then it can be draining, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not discrediting that because that happens in life.
It
But
happens.
yeah, definitely the thing about going out of the bubble that you're in, and also that most of the people taking similar decisions are in, let's go specific, ESTEC, ESTEC
Yeah.
board, ESTEC international. Sorry, that is called EESTEC. There's no EESTEC International anymore. Um,
It is not? Ah, okay. I learned that.
no, since 2019 actually,
Ah, great.
since the Congress there. But yeah, you have a lot of people in even different organizations or people outside of organizations that can be asked for specific decisions.
Yeah.
And the same goes for training. You don't need to ask a trainer to get a valid opinion.
No.
And I know this is blasphemy for some people that I know, but non-trainers have a brain too. It's crazy, right?
No,
Yeah,
and
this
sometimes
is
they even
definitely
have a
for
mini
our
brain.
this is for our promo. This is definitely for our promo. But yeah, this is one thing that's very interesting to me
Yeah.
to think about how people make decisions. And like you are someone who is very intuitive about that. I know people that definitely need a spreadsheet beforehand for bigger decisions, and it just comes down to what works for you.
And
What I
I
wanted to
love
touch
that.
on there, because we were always talking about, like, we were generalizing decisions quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, I want to have like a bit of an author's note here. Make sure that you're sure that the decision is impactful.
Yes.
What do I mean by that? Sometimes we have actual decision paralysis. Now you're getting in there. Now, sometimes we're like, okay, I don't know what to do. I can't decide that quickly. What if?
Yeah.
What if what I do is bad? One thing that helps me there is to go out and really think about it. Wait, what's the worst thing that happens here? Because out of all the decisions, especially if let's go back to training design. If we take all the decisions in training design and training delivery into account,
Hmm?
how many of those decisions are actually impactful? How many
Exactly.
of those decisions need to be on point?
Hmm.
And how many of those decisions are just like, I mean, good to have. Sometimes,
Yeah.
even if it's bad, it's still fine.
It's good. Now, getting to the worst case scenario can really help make it objective, because it will really help you understand that from there everything is going to be okay. And I have experienced that the worst case scenario was horrible, and it has also helped me not to take a decision because of that. What I'm trying to say here, I let's write it down in here. I don't like thinking about the what ifs. Why? Because you can ask yourself that question infinite times. What if I don't do this? What if it goes like that? What if blah blah blah? What if? And then you end up seeing yourself 20 minutes later without any improvement on your decision, and only thinking about all the different situations that could have happened. Of course, it can help you, but try to stop it once you notice yourself that you are getting out or getting away from the main decision. Why do I say this? People as me, I don't know if you're like that, Atanas, that are overthinkers, are always finding ourselves asking us, what if it goes like that? What if it goes like that? It has helped me a lot in order to get ready for every single situation, but it has drained me so much. I have found myself that I have had a headache because of the time that I have spent thinking about every single possible part of a decision that could have gone. So,
It took me the better of 10 years to get like proper functional with it. Let's put it this way.
exactly. So, what if is our one of our best friends, but try to hate him a bit
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. Like it's sometimes you don't have the time to think about all the options.
No, exactly.
And I mean, it's not a proper gamble, but it's like a bit of an estimated or educated gamble to just jump into one of two, three options that you have.
Yeah.
Just jump into the cold water, take one of the options, because I fully agree with that. Like if you're standing in front of your participants for 5 minutes drooling because you're not sure at which angle to put your visual, or if it's like fully
Yeah.
fully vertical or horizontal or not. This is like it's not gonna help your
Yeah.
actual objective, which we go back to like the beginning. You have your training objective. When I say think about the worst case, it's about, is this what you're doing really going to affect
Exactly.
your training objective? If not, then whatever. Most
Exactly.
of the times, the worst case scenario is it being cringe. People that know me know that about my jokes. Sometimes I have the timing right, and every now and then there's like a
Yeah.
full on blowout of just, this was cringe and not funny. Which happens. I mean, that's the same for trainings. Like, should I do this? Should I make a joke here to ease the mood? Should I ask this question?
Yeah.
And instead of wondering and standing there, but what if no one answers? I've heard this quite a bit from especially new trainers about debriefing.
Yeah.
Debriefing and which questions to use. They block out. And then you use something basic because you don't want to be at fault for being awkward
Mm.
or for having to, like, save the situation because
Yeah.
nobody answers. But that's like a big problem to, like, just a big mistake to fall into, because if you're always on a basic level because you don't want to take a risk for a decision,
You're always
then
listening.
you will never be really good.
Yeah. Not even really good, but you will never be yourself, let's say. You will always
Yes,
be basic.
yes.
And you, as
If
I
you're
know,
basic, don't get offended, please. Anyone
no,
listening
no,
there
no, no.
being basic, don't get
I
offended.
don't agree. Get offended because you're not basic. If you feel that you're basic, you're not. Um, but with what you said, it's really important. I have experienced a lot with debriefings, which debriefing is let's say, as I'm focusing it right now, is the last part of a discussion where you want to, let's say, get the main ideas, main learning ideas of an activity, of a theory, of
Yeah,
whatever that comes through. And we are focusing on it because questions are really important. And each question that you are asking, it's, let's say, a micro decision that you are taking. In my experience for this, and as I have been talking with different people and trying to show them my perspective onto it, I only note down two, three questions, which can help me if everything goes like out of the conversation, can help me bring it back. But my main point of view in this case is play with people, play with them, play with their inputs. Don't focus too much on the, let's say, constant part of the discussion, which are your questions, but also play with their ideas. Their ideas are way more important than yours. And this is what I was. Oh, we were talking about creativity. Participants are the most creative people inside the room, and their inputs are gonna be helping more the rest than your own inputs. So play with it, even if you're getting rid of your questions that you have already prepared, but that those questions that you are creating or adding up on the ones that participants were having can lead you to the same place as you were thinking of. And
yeah,
I've been trying to, let's say, stay clear with this idea for my whole training path. I have, of course, taken a lot of experience from it, because in terms of time management is the worst thing you can do at the beginning, because you will end up in a, not say, let's not say a cheat show, but an amount of questions. And if you're having a lot of participants, they will start asking themselves questions and you will open a whole new discussion. So get narrow again with your thoughts, their thoughts, and try to end up getting value ideas that they're going to be getting from for their real life.
yeah. I agree with that. I think it's important to utilize the brains in the room. You're not alone. Like, this goes also back to the point that we talked about: talk to others, ask others.
Hmm.
Participants are also people. They might not be the ones leading the training, but
No.
they're the ones that are providing parts of the knowledge, because this is how
Exactly.
facilitating our learning experience goes. And yeah, that's a very good point. I really like that. What you said about narrowing it down, I think, because some listeners probably want to have certain frameworks or anything to base stuff on. Uh, if you want to look at decision making, there is a nice model, which is the diamond model, or
Yeah.
sometimes the double diamond, which is specifically for group decisions. Just saying here, this is something that is used in professional life a lot, and it's something that's used by project managers, for example. What's important here is this is a way of thinking. This is a way of aligning information with what your goals are. You can totally use deviations of it in your private life.
Hmm.
Why we are not doing it is because nobody's doing it consciously for their own decisions.
Yeah.
But if you're struggling with how to get to a decision, this can help. It's a model. All models are wrong, some are useful. That's a very useful one. It's perfectly fine
Exactly.
to include this one in your, let's say, arsenal of different models that you are probably
Using.
using.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
adapt it to yourself. It's really important.
yeah,
From
yeah.
experience, you will get to learn what works with you and what not doesn't work.
So let's summarize it up because we're nearing the hour
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
slowly.
I hope someone took a good nap listening to us.
Oh yes, we have lovely voices. Someone hopefully took a nap listening to us.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about sharing your opinion, talking to others, making experiences by jumping into cold water.
Yeah.
For training specifically, you can do a multitude of things. The like some of the important parts are to risk a bit because the consequence is very rarely that you will actually miss your learning goal,
Exactly.
especially if you have designed properly. And by properly, I mean with a brain.
Yeah.
And most people design with a brain. Um,
And you're designing it with the goal in mind. So
yes,
you already, as we were talking before, you're already understanding where you want to go and how you want to go. So you can sometimes take the risk, as you're saying,
yeah.
and move on to that.
And if something is cringe, if something fails a bit, if something doesn't work out the way you want to, then it is what it is.
It,
You learn from it and you move on, you improve for the next time. That
exactly.
has usually helped me improve, and that has helped most people improve because this is the best way to actually get some improvement points for yourself.
And also, I wanted to say that we're here in a way that even though with the decisions we have made in our life, we're still talking about them. And this means that the worst case scenario was recording this podcast. No.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
but what I wanted to say is that, as we were saying before, no one is basic. Everyone can bring a new way of viewing things into your life. Wait, I don't want to sound like too cute or something. Anyone can help you with any situation that you have. Get support from the rest. Get support from your own ideas and don't be scared about jumping into cold water, as Atanas was saying. This is really important, and failing is the best thing you can do at the beginning because it will help you in the future.
Yeah,
And also, don't worry about time, don't worry about losing a session, losing a month, losing a year in your life, because it's not losing it, it's an investment that you will be doing for the future.
of course. And this is something that is cannot be overstated. Be open to feedback, and
Yeah.
I don't mean asking for feedback, but actually accepting that you might have done something not optimally, which is fine. Nothing in life needs to
Yeah.
be fully optimal. You're not a robot. We're not robots. I don't even have hair, for God's sake. Like, it doesn't need to be optimal. It's most of the times it just needs to work, and especially work for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so to all the training candidates out there that are panicking about any singular small decision, including what kind of word should I use for my learning objective.
Mm,
Breathe in, breathe out. You don't need to be perfect to get your status.
no.
If this is your goal, you don't need to be perfect in the beginning to improve for later, because it would cancel the improvement out if
Yeah.
you were already perfect. So jump
And
in, do
being
things,
perfect is
and
boring.
have fun. Yeah, that as well. Like that doesn't. It's no fun. A little bit of spice is needed, you
Yeah.
know. So the last question for today is, John, if you could tell your baby EESTECer self that I met in Milano six
Mm.
years ago something, what would it be?
Um, don't overthink too much about the things that are coming up. Uh, Not only decisions, but also everything. And enjoy. This is a mojo I've been having through my whole path, but sometimes I was forgetting about it. Enjoy doesn't mean that you have to say to smile at everyone at every single step, but enjoy means that everything that you're learning, reflect on it and reflect on what is good for you and what is taking good for you. That would I would say that for sure.
Perfect. That's a great way to end this episode. Thank you very much for being here, John. I hope you all enjoyed listening to us
Yeah.
yap. This was not too much of a meme when it comes to memeable content, but we
Well,
hope to provide later on. And we hope you'll get some nice reels out of it anyway.
yeah.
Again, we're hoping for a sponsorship with EESTEC, Monster Energy, please. This would be amazing. Scissors.
Scissors.
And yeah, stay tuned for next episode. We are planning to put out one per month. And if you liked it, if you have any comments, if you have anything, feel free to write an email
Or in the comments. You
or in
can.
the comments if they're enabled.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it is still work in progress. This is the first episode. Let's not get ahead of yourselves. At some point, you might even donate to Twitch if we get there.
Oh,
So,
yeah. You can donate me. I will put my bank account.
yeah, we'll cut that one out. We'll cut that one out. All right, and goodbye.